The last video I'm going to make today is going to be in regards to the different kinds of smites you can get and why you would want to get them. I'm going to add myself some gold here so I can buy some items. So the first kind of smite you can get is your normal smite, and as I stated before in a previous video, it deals true damage to a target epic or large monster, and it also restores some health for you. You also get a charge every 77 seconds, up to 2 charges. So this is just your normal smite. This doesn't do anything other than damage to monsters and healing you. So what happens to that, or what can you do to change your smite? And that is you can buy different kinds of smite items. Whenever you hover over the Hunter's Machete, you'll see there's 3 different kinds of smite. There's the red smite, green smite, and blue smite, which are called the Skirmisher's Saber, Tracker's Knife, and Stalker's Blade, respectively. So what do each of these do? Well, they change your smite and make it do something else. So let's do the Skirmisher's Saber first. You'll notice now that my smite icon is red, and it says Challenging Smite, which is not the normal smite that you had before. Now, in addition to what my smite used to do, my smite is also Challenging Smite. So Challenging Smite can target an enemy champion, marking them for several seconds. During this time, you deal bonus true damage to them over 3 seconds on hit, gain vision of them, and take 20% reduced damage for them. So it's aptly named. It is the Skirmisher's Saber. So you can get into skirmish with enemy champions, and you'll come out on top because not only are they doing reduced damage to you, but you're also doing more damage to them. So I've got a target dummy here, and I'll show you. Previously, I was not able to smite anything other than monsters, and that was it. Well, now, if I want, I can smite this guy. And as you can see, in addition to the normal damage I'm doing, you see the white numbers coming out, 54, 54, 54. I'm doing additional true damage to this target. I'm going to do it again. You see right now I'm only doing magic damage and regular damage, the purple number and the red number. Once I smite it, there's also a true damage component. 54, 54, 54. So this is a true damage burn. You also see that there's an animation of him being on fire. So that's what Skirmisher's Saber does. It makes you do a true damage burn to the enemy, which makes you do more damage to them, and it also makes them do less damage to you. That's Skirmisher's Saber. The second kind of smite that you can get is called Tracker's Knife, which is also called Green Smite. That's what people call it, is Green Smite. So Green Smite doesn't allow you to smite the enemy champion at all. Like, I'm pressing my smite button on this guy, I can't smite him. But what it does allow you to do is it allows you to get vision. That's why it's called the Tracker's Knife. So with the Tracker's Knife, if I press the button corresponding to the slot that I've got it in this case 2, if I press 2, I get wards. I have wards now. And you get 2 of them. And so now it's on cooldown. There's no more wards or anything. I still have smite. I can still smite, whatever. You know, if I had minions here, I could show you that I can still smite. Smite still works. But I have no more vision wards to put down. However, if I go back to base, you'll notice I get 2 more wards every time I go back to base. And now I have none. And now I go back to base. Now I have 2 more wards. And so you can get a lot of vision control with the Tracker's Knife, and that's basically what it's for. That's why it's called the Tracker's Knife. You're going to be tracking the enemy jungler, you're going to be tracking the enemy champions. It's the Tracker's Knife. The last one that you can get is called Stalker's Blade. It's the Blue Smite. People call it Blue Smite. What Blue Smite does is, in addition to the normal smite things that smite does, you also get Chilling Smite. Smite can be cast on enemy champions, dealing reduced true damage and stealing 20% movement speed for 2 seconds. Now, what that means is, when I smite this guy, it's going to actually do damage initially. The Skirmisher's Saber doesn't do damage initially, it just adds damage to your attack. This one actually makes your smite do damage to the enemy champion. So you'll see, last hit is 0 on this dummy. If I smite him, well, it doesn't show up, but you'll see I'm dealing 164 damage, 164 damage, 164 damage here. And also, it steals 20% movement speed. And note that it says steals, okay? That means if the enemy has 100 movement speed, after I smite them, I'm going to get 20 movement speed, and they're going to lose 20 movement speed. So it's not necessarily as slow, although it functions the same way. However, a character like Rammus or Hecarim or anybody else that's going to be moving really, really, really fast, the amount of movement speed you steal depends on how much the enemy has. So if you have a fully charged up motoring Rammus charging at you at full speed and you use Chilling Smite on him, you're going to get a ton of movement speed because it scales on how fast the enemy champion is currently moving at the time that you smite them. So this is the most common option. Most people will pick Stalker's Blade for just about every champion. I don't think it's necessarily always the best option, but it is a good option because it lets you do damage, which can secure you kills. It's a substantial amount of damage. 164 damage is nothing to laugh at. But it also allows you to move faster, which can be huge for escaping or catching an enemy champion that's low health or a lot of other things. Movement speed and damage are both incredibly good stats in this game, and that's why Stalker's Blade is almost always taken. Personally, I prefer Tracker's Knife because I think vision is more important, but I can certainly see the argument for Stalker's Blade. And those are the three different kinds of smites you can get. Red Smite, as an overview, Red Smite deals damage to the enemy target over time and also makes them deal less damage to you. The Green Smite or Tracker's Knife gives you basically a warding totem, an additional warding totem to cover the enemy jungle or your jungle or wherever you need with wards. And the Stalker's Blade deals damage to the enemy champion and also gives you movement speed based on how much movement speed they had when you smited them. And those are the different kinds of smite, and that's pretty much all you need to know about that.